Welcome, everyone. I'm Laurie Stack, the RVP of the Tax Channel and the head of the Women's Impact Network in the Tax Channel.
And I'm Caroline Piehl. I'm an advisor and managing partner of Timewise Financial.
This is the inside track of the great wealth transfer and the importance and criticality of succession planning.
How does the aging and retiring advisor base intersect with the great wealth transfer?
Yeah, so there's going to be $84 trillion of wealth that is passing down to the next generation within the next decade. And on the advisor side, there's going to be a similar transition where a lot of advisors in their 60s are going to start to retire, which means the next generation of advisors will have to take over those clients. So I see the great wealth transfer and the advisor transfer essentially running parallel paths.
How do you build trust with next-gen clients?
I think there's two things that you have to do to start to build trust with next generation of clients. Number one, low-hanging fruit is to work with and start having conversations with your current book of business, your current clients, their kids, their grandkids. Start to integrate them into family planning meetings. Start to build a relationship with that next generation because you already have the trust of the parents or the grandparents. So that is something you could be doing right now. And then in addition to that, if you want to build the firm of the future, you also want to be building out a pipeline of that next generation client base by going after new clients that are, in their 30s or 40s. And so I really think it's important to have those parallel paths and be working both on the next gen clients of your existing book of business as well as building a pipeline.
And that's especially important to you because you took over your father's business. Well, he has clients that are older, but your target market is next gen clients and your best referrals are your clients. So while you're cultivating their financial future, they'll refer you to other people, which is your greatest source of growth.
How do senior advisors bring juniors into the fold?
Great question, Jake. I think it starts, number one, with intention of do you want to grow your practice and bring on that next generation of clients? Because ultimately, to bring on the next generation of clients, you have to have some advisors that represent the next generation. And once you bring on that junior advisor, I think it's wise to have a set career path. So those advisors know what to strive for. They know what progression looks like in their job. And then it's just, moving them through the training plan. And you're introducing them to clients because ultimately you want to be able to pass that trust on so that your clients are trusting those junior advisors.
What does effective training for next gen look like?
I believe most financial advisors should get their CFP dezignatation because it teaches you so much about the business and how to do holistic planning. So once the technical side is under their belt, being an advisor is really all about earning and building the trust of your clients. And so that takes time, that takes repetition. It's not going to happen overnight. And so we start out our advisors just by sitting in the meetings. They're taking notes, the clients know their names. Then maybe 6 to 8 months later, they're actually leading the economic update of the client meeting. So clients are getting to know them, they're learning their expertise. Then maybe 12 months later, they're actually running the meat of the meeting. And then eventually the lead advisor is traveling and that junior advisor is now no longer a junior advisor and is actually leading the meeting from start to finish.
And what I would just add on to that is we are in a technology generation. So utilize the technology that the home office offers you, use all the tools, and become an expert, a subject matter expert on helping your clients where to go.
Do I really need a succession plan? What if I'm not ready?
Your question about succession and not being ready is really about the ability to protect the integrity of the business that you have built. You can start with a continuity plan that's managed by your home office, just so you make sure that if something happens, you have something in place to cover your business and your family. And then a succession plan is more detailed process and takes time.
You don't have to do it all overnight. I think breaking it down into smaller steps and taking action today is the most critical thing. Typically most people wait until 6 months out when they want to retire, and then they start thinking, who is going to buy my practice? How can I retire? And in reality, it takes quite a bit longer than that if you want it to be with the right fit. And the reason why it's so important is because ultimately, as an advisor, you really care about your clients. You want them to be in good hands. You want whoever's taking over to continue to steward your wealth. And so you don't want your clients to walk out the door the second that you sell your practice. Also think about your employees. You want your employees to be in good hands and continue their careers with whoever purchases your practice. And so that takes time, that takes intention, but you can start today.
A lot of advisors don't even know what their practice is worth. How do you start with evaluation?
It can be intimidating. You might have a number in your head that you think your firm is worth, but your firm is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And so Laurie mentioned, there are home office resources that you can utilize just as a starting place.
Yeah, use those resources to start it, and to really, you got to be prepared. Like you said, you need to know the assets you have, know the rate you're growing, and your internal growth consultant will be able to give you a picture or a snapshot of what your business would look like if you continued your current growth and added to it the way you were.
What are the top 5 must-dos for an advisor when building a strong succession plan?
The number one important thing is getting a trusted buyer and someone that fits your culture and has the same integrity you have in the business. But you can't start there. You have to start with some of the other things that we've talked about.
If you haven't started yet, the best time to start planning is right now. Just start putting feelers out and getting that valuation done on your practice. The second thing would be to start documenting all of your processes, procedures, creating more structure in your business. And then obviously over time, once you find that right fit, there's no one size fits all to succession planning. It could be someone internally that you're grooming and coaching up and building up to take over the practice, or it could be someone external within the Cetera family that you're meeting at conferences and you feel like there's a good fit there. And then, in terms of the timeline, again, there's no one size fits all. I've seen firms where it's a 6-year succession plan where they are basically transitioning those clients over 6 years to that successor advisor. I've seen some where it's 18 months. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So, there is some urgency around putting at least a basic plan in place of who would service your clients if something happened.
What are the top things to avoid when building a succession plan?
Good question, Susie. There's really 2 things that stand out. Don't wait any longer if you haven't started, so take action on that today. And then the other thing that I think is very important is, you might be getting a couple of different offers or interest from other people that are looking to buy your practice. A lot of times in life as well, you don't always want to go with the highest bidder. You want to go with the person and the team that you think is going to be the best fit culturally for your clients, for your employees, and ultimately that will make the transition a lot smoother.
Someone who's always looking for the money and the highest bidder is many times not the right fit. You want them to pick some place where they're going to be valued and they're going to thrive and they love the culture. Just something to be aware, I think, in our profession and in life.
Why is succession planning so pressing today?
I think it goes hand in hand with the great wealth transfer. It is happening whether you are prepared or not, and I truly think the firms that are poising and positioning themselves for the future of this great wealth transfer and bringing on the right talent to service the next generation of clients, whether it's evolving your service model to meet the needs of those next generation clients, those are the firms that are going to rise to the top. And those are the firms that are going to be successful in 2-3 decades from now versus using the old model that's gotten them, to where they are today to be successful.
It is happening. It's not maybe going to happen. We're not looking back. The great wealth transfer is here. You're either going to be in it or you're not going to be in it.
Why does the next generation need to be at the heart of succession planning?
New clients is the bloodline of your firm. So if you want to bring on new clients, ultimately you're going to need to bring in the next generation at some point in time. And so, I don't think you have to flip your business model, overnight, but I do think it's important to understand the needs of the next generation. From what I've found working with clients' kids and then our new pipeline of next generation clients, they really value technology, make it easy for me. They really value education. And so the more that you work with younger clients, the better you can attune your service model to serve those clients so that they can then go and refer out their friends and families.
They're also going to have the wealth. Like today, the average age of people that own the majority of the wealth are 59 years old. That is going to change in 10 years and in 20 years dramatically. So they need to be in the game. You need to be talking to them. You need to be recruiting those young advisors that are that age. We need to be attracting women to the profession. It's a new game, and we're here to do it. Thanks, Caroline, for being with us today, and thanks everyone else who is watching this to talk about the importance of the great wealth transfer and the need for succession planning today. I sure appreciate having you here.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, time's running out. We got this.
Bye for now.